Andrea Adams.
Yes.
All she has is a point of contact, not an actual frontage on this way, but I believe she uses it as her access.
Also, the sewer line is under that point
Yeah.
also.
So there would be, what I foresee in the future is that there would be church community housing plus 3 property owners, 2 of whom are here tonight, and the third being Miss Adams, that would share that right of way. And they would be responsible for making sure that no one ever blocks it to the detriment of someone else, that it gets maintained, that if it gets opened up for the repair of utilities, that the party responsible for that opening promptly return it to the condition it was in prior to. And it would just be the same little 10-foot wide way that Mr. Knowles created. And from my perspective, it's very important because although several of those properties have frontage on Narragansett Avenue, it would be a shame if they actually created driveways on Narragansett Avenue. It would change dramatically this beautiful street front we have right here because they beautifully maintain their houses. And there's a stone wall there. So it's a good thing that we have this way, and we want to work with the neighbors to keep it the same way it is right now.
So you're testifying that the right-of-way that's outlined does have a written title that outlines the homeowner's rights?
Mr. Knowles, all he did was grant to several of the others a right to use this 10-foot way.
And where is that documented?
In the
resource
land evidence records.
It's in their deeds.
Okay, that's what I'm here.
Just curiosity, or anything, does the town plow that right away?
No, there's nothing.
And
Fight our way out of it.
Right, so then that's a community, anything in regards to maintenance, plowing, et cetera, it's a community effort.
yeah. And I was going to, at some time, depending on what you do, share with them what we think would be a good way to approach this in the future.
Just for review, you mentioned a maintenance, entering into a maintenance agreement.
Yes.
And
It has nothing to do with the town, it has only to do with the neighbors.
Mr. Murphy, just a question, so we can just clarify the record.
Sure.
Number one, the right-of-way, or the travel way, not, other than that small triangle piece at the corner, that's not part of the subdivision property.
It is not.
Okay, it's a separate area,
It was
separate parcel.
never deeded out by Knowles to anybody, I don't think.
And so except for that small encroachment that is getting used on the corner, that's the only piece of the applicant's property
That's right.
that's involved in this right-of-way.
That's my understanding.
And at the current time, the applicant has the right to use that way to access his property.
Yeah, they have an opening in their fence, and I don't think they regularly do, but on occasion they could pull a vehicle in.
But as shown on the plan, right now, they have a right to use that property.
Yes.
For the
lawn
driveway.
tractors in there.
Yeah.
Lawn tractors.
Yeah, we have, whatever the depth of the lot is, we have frontage on that way.
At this time, I'd like to thank the commissioners for your consideration of this proposal. And if you have no further questions of me, I'd like to close our presentation.
Could you just explain to us, there's something listed on Mrs. description here about zoning relief or relief regarding perennial landscape or any of the landscape gardens, et cetera. What does that have to do with?
They were items that we identified for relief in an abundance of precaution, but as Lisa has outlined in her draft motion, that they are items which are recommendations and not requirements. So we aren't actually requesting any variances from those.
Should we have those in the findings then, please?
I'm sorry?
Should they be in the findings?
That one is not a requirement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just referenced my memorandum. If you want to make it specific, that's okay, then that's fine.
Well, the one that's required is the street trees. That's a requirement, that's a shall rather than a should.
Which number are you looking at?
Well, depends on which you're looking at your,
Or E,
I'm looking at my memorandum.
oh, I'm not near your memorandum.
It's attached to the motion.
Yes, the public frontage is 82, it's on your page 4 or 5, 821102B 3A. Public frontage shall include compatible trees planted at regularly spaced alley pattern, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something we can, and that's the one that would have to stay. The rest of them might or might not stay.
So anything that says shall is a requirement, and if it says should, it's just a suggestion.
And if
So
it's
it would not
required,
require a variance.
and with a requirement, we can still give it a variance.
Pardon me?
With a requirement, we can still give it a variance.
Correct. Correct.
Can you tell me which trees you know will stay and which trees you're not sure of? There are about 4 that I saw there. 2 that were right on the front, that were, one that was kind of that red with the star-shaped leaf, and then a kind of a round-shaped conifer that were closer to the property line. Then there was something that looked kind of coniferific or something over on the side, and then there was a big maple back in the middle.
At this time, it looks like the construction may require that all of the trees can't exist in their current location. That because of the locations of driveways or other improvements, that there are some, one in particular, which the family has identified as a Japanese maple that they would really like to keep, which we will try to move and put it in the center of the middle lot's front yard. Aside from that, it looks very difficult to keep any of the other trees due to the site constraints.
This is probably too conditional, but I'll ask it anyway. At this point, you're not sure whether you can rehabilitate or renovate the existing building. If it turns out you can't, you wouldn't need quite as much property for that lot.
Correct.
Is there, and I don't know whether this is even feasible, is there any flexibility in the lot lines that would then, if you had to tear it down and make a smaller, it'd be similar as opposed to the other 2, you could open up the other 2 a little bit? Would that allow you to do anything with the trees?
Lisa has actually addressed this very nicely in her draft motion. She basically describes what we would do, which is that we would reallocate the lot area so that we would divide it evenly among the 3 lots. If we can't keep the existing house, and we're going to be creating another house which would have the same footprint as the other 2 that we're proposing.
And would that allow saving of any of the trees or not?
To be honest, off the top of my head, I'm not sure if that.
But at least you're covered,
Yes.
at least you're covered in that respect. The only other question about the trees I had is that, what about the corner of the existing house, the one that's right on the corner of the way? Isn't there room for a tree there?
There is actually, I believe, a shrub on the corner of the way and Swinburne presently. There could be some more room for another tree.
Because it was originally a parking space, and now that that's moved, does that give you a place to put a tree? It would just be a nice place to put it if it weren't in the way of people getting in and out.
I said that in my report that I would be happy to work with the tree committee and the tree warden, because they do yearly plantings,
Yeah.
in planting several more trees on the right of way of the street, of Swinburne Street, in that location, if there's room when they get done with it. And I also wanted to say that the Japanese maple, this maple that's right out here in the